If your e-learning contains narration, it's important that the translator and reviewer know this. Written language is often translated very differently from spoken language. It can be more than just tone. For example, the pronouns or verb tenses could change, or the formality of address could change.
Hi, I just listened to the audio, and now that I hear it, the wording isn't quite right.
What do you mean? Was something mispronounced? Did the voice talent read something wrong?
Oh no. I just didn't like how I translated it. I'll send you the revisions later this morning.
Make all edits before sending the audio for recording. Your changes to the script after recording cost money. If you decide after the audio is recorded that you don't like the wording of a sentence, you'll be charged for your revisions to the script. On the other hand, voice talent should correct all their errors freely and not charge for their mistakes. Although many translation services can manage the entire audio integration for you, sometimes you'll need to do it yourself. I'll show you best practices for quickly and smoothly managing the audio portion of a project. Good audio begins with the script. I always create a script specifically for the voice talent with the file names for the audio clips. Do not send the document your courseware produces. It contains too much information and will confuse the voice talent. I also provide the voice talent with pronunciations for uncommon words. Otherwise, words might be mispronounced, requiring re-records. This is how I construct my scripts for the voice talent. If you have multiple lessons and you are including the scripts for each lesson in one file, you don't want the audio for each lesson to be accidentally mixed together. Clearly identify each lesson. The first column, slide, is optional because this also appears in the file name. If your courseware has scenes, numbering the slides this way immediately lets you know the scene and the slide in the scene where the audio goes. If you have layers on the slide, I would add the layer name to the end. This is the narration for the slide. This is where you would also indicate pronunciations, length of pauses, and so on. If the slide has layers, place the narration for each layer in a separate row. This is the actual name of the audio file that the voice talent returns. The lesson name, scene number, slide number, and audio output format. Here is a summary of what happens when you don't provide the voice talent a script versus doing so. The file naming convention the vendor uses doesn't make sense to you. You are not familiar with the language, and because the audio file isn't what you expected, you experience frustration and delays trying to insert the audio. The vendor sends you one large audio file, which you must break up yourself. The advantage of providing a script is that the audio files that are returned can be dropped into each slide without additional work. I know exactly which slide to put the audio into because I designated the file names and therefore understand where they go. If I require the vendor to correct the audio, only the clip with the error needs to be recorded. It is easy to identify and replace the clip. Before sending the script for recording, ask the vendor for voice samples. Let your language reviewer select the voice. If you are unfamiliar with the language, it'll be difficult for you to determine if words are pronounced and paced correctly. Make sure the accent is correct for the country. Just as selecting a deep Southern accent for a course used by Northeasterners in the U.S. is inappropriate, the accent used for Spanish in Spain is very different from the accent used by Puerto Ricans. You're paying for professional audio. Therefore, the quality of the audio output should reflect this. That means the voice talent delivers audio where comfortable pauses are left between sentences and paragraphs. That is not spoken too fast. That does not contain large gasping breaths, loud swallowing sounds, or other unprofessional noises. That is clean with no extraneous background noise. And in files that are named and formatted as requested. Step 1. Create your script. Step 2. Select your voice talent. Step 3. Insert your audio output. Following these 3 steps, regardless of whether you translate the content or not, will streamline your production process. You'll find a link to a script template and script practice file in the description below. Use these files to practice creating a script following the practices discussed here. This completes the series on translation management. Stay tuned for the next series, Building an e-learning course, Tips and Best Practices. Thanks for watching.